Hi guys, it's Ray here from Man City Fan Chat. Just waiting for Bernard. So we can start this new series, this new slot of Premier League review. So we're going to look at obviously, we'll talk about the Man City game and we'll give the players some marks out of 10. Bernard's a very harsh guy, even harsher than me by the looks of things. And hi Zippo. And then we're going to talk about the Premier League. Hey, get Bernard on. Hey, Bernard, you all right?
Can you hear me?
Oh, absolutely. Got it right today. After my cock up last week. Hi, Mike, how you doing, mate? So we'll get... Can I get... No. See what it says. For me, it says Man City live chat. For you, it says Bernard Dineen movie game. That's all it can.
Which alter that? Can you alter that?
I don't know. Did you?
It's obviously gone off screen, hasn't it?
Yeah. Sorry, we'll give a shout out. We'll try and see if there's anything we can do for that. So I don't know how to remove your name.
I'll leave the studio and then come back on, yeah?
Yeah, if you see if you can change it. So I'll remove you. Bernard's going to come back. Hi, Ray. How you doing, mate? Good to see you at the weekend. Very nice to see you, Mike. Sorry, Ray. Mike James again. Clements, hi. Andy. Yeah. Give us, we'll see how this goes with the first attempt at this the show. Hopefully, we're going to do it every weekend. Maybe during the week as well. If there's a full league program, we'll do it every midweek as well. Let's see if Bernard's back on. Bernard's back on with his name. You just Bernard Dineen now?
Yeah, boring.
All right. Don't worry. So first of all, we're going to have a word from our sponsor. Well, not really sponsor. We're just here trying to help promote Bernard's movie game nostalgia business, should we call it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I used to sell through a couple of the big online retailers, but I've just sort of built my own website over the last few months, which is called movieGameNostalgia.com. And obviously, I do little YouTube things to accompany that now, just to promote the thing and obviously entertain people, hopefully. And I didn't just want to be a site where I sold things. I wanted to give people information as well and hopefully entertain people on a daily basis with the videos I'm doing. So obviously alongside my means of living, I've got a little YouTube channel now, which hopefully the guys can subscribe to and enjoy as the days and weeks go on.
Yeah. Hi, Colin. Nice to see you on board tonight. And Steve Black, yes, this is the Bald-Headed Society meeting. Hi, Danny. Hope you're well, mate. So, yeah, I've seen some of Bernard's YouTube videos. Very, very, very engaging is our Bernard. And talking about the games. I can't remember the name now. What was it? Bermuda Triangle. That's the one I watched.
Well, I'm doing a good one tomorrow, which is the You Are the Ref tomorrow.
All right, You Are the Ref with Steve Hackett's You Are the Ref. I remember that. Hi, Abhishek. Hope you're well. And then I saw the one for Playmobil, and I wanted to take my kids, but as soon as the movie came out on Friday, I think, and my kids went to France on Friday, so I'll have to wait till they come back, find out what they've watched in France, because they don't talk to me now. I have to struggle to speak to my kids. Spoke to the little one today, first time in 3 days. They're having too much fun. They don't need me around. So yeah, I'll see what they've watched. And that Playmobil, it looks, from what you said and the other reviews, certainly.
I think there's a couple of new kids ones this week as well. So I'm not sure offhand what they are, but I think there's another one or two. Well, obviously, this time of year you get all the kids' films coming.
That's it. So I'll check them out, guys. I put the link there, moviegamenostalgia.com. I put it in the on the screen, and I'll do it again. MovieGameNostalgia.com.
And the thing is, I mean, the guys don't have to buy anything. It's just footfall. I need people just logging in and going through Google and things, because obviously I'm nowhere near the top of Google, obviously.
Yeah.
So even if the guys just have a look round, and I do blogs and stuff like that.
That's it,
just have a look. You don't have to buy anything. Just have a look and get me up the Google thing.
It's like anything. It takes 2 minutes. 2 minutes, not even that. Just to log on someone's site, have a quick look around, watch a video, or at least stick Bernard's video on. And if you're not interested in the film, let it run. Just let it run in the background. It takes 2 minutes, and it just helps a little bit. So Ray said, my wife was a ref. Wonder how many she would get right. I have to watch that. Yeah, Ray. Yeah. I like those. You are the ref series. When was it in the Telegraph or the Times that was in?
It used to be in the Shoot, and then it went to the Observer.
Yeah, Observer. Yeah, because I used to look at it in Shoots. I mean, blimey, that was a long time ago.
Oh, that's where I saw it originally in Shoot magazine. Yeah,
we used to get things like Roy the Rovers. Yeah, that was my pocket money. Roy the Rovers. And then there was another one as well. I can't remember now. Hot Shot Hamish. I remember that.
Hamish, yeah.
Hamish. I remember that as a teenager. So,
when I was a kid, you had Shoot magazine and you had also Goal magazine.
Yeah.
Don't you remember Goal?
Yeah,
so they were the two biggies at the time.
Yeah, Shoot magazine, Goal magazine, Hot Shot Hamish, and Roy the Rovers. That's what I remember. I mean, I was really big into watching or reading anything I could about football. I used to read, any football fiction meant for kids. I'd read that. I'd read autobiographies when I was a little bit older.
Billy's Boots. Remember Billy's Boots? Billy's Boots. That was it. I think that was in the Victor. The Victor comic had Billy's Boots.
I remember reading books. There was a series of books. Now, I mean, I'm going back at least 40 years, and there's a series of books, and there were football books about just stories, and I remember one thing that I remember from a couple of things I remember from one of these books was this kid. He was coming through, and there was this All Pro, and he was I think it was his debut or something. This kid's debut. He's about 17, and this All Pro, and the All Pro said, don't make me look like a mug, and he was in his ear all the way through. He was a defender. This guy was a winger. All the way through, and saying, I've got an injury and I won't get a contract or whatever it was. I'm just paraphrasing, kind of. He was basically putting up this sob story, and then when it came to it, the guy was no mug. He sorted that kid out. But also, I remember reading. I can't remember who the author was. It was a series. He had a few books out, and there was something I remember from one of those books. It was about never giving up on a lost cause, and there was a windy game. And the ball was hit, and it looked like it was going to go out, and it stayed in. And this kid, he just went for it, and he got it and scored a goal and won the game, whatever. That's how those stories kind of worked.
There was always a ball boy who the ball would go out, and the ball boy would control it, flick it over his head, nod it up in the air, put it back to the guy to take the throw in, and the next week he was playing for the team, wasn't he?
So let's have a quick look at this. Steve Black says, get Bernard up the Google missus. Yeah. Steve Black, Match Magazine and Shoot. Ray Barlow says, Melchus just won the league again, ruining football. Steve Black goes to Jossie's Giants. Well, that's a bit after my youth, I think, Jossie's Giants. That's Mike James. Oldest football book I read was Tommy Lawton's, played in the 30s as a striker. Also read Sir Stanley Matthews' book. Cheshire Homebrew High Fella Shoots and Roy the Rovers loved it. Billy the Fish, Steve Black, that was in Viz, which is still going out. I mean, I was reading Viz in the 80s, I think.
Do the guys like the shirt, by the way?
What shirt are you wearing? Hey, what colour is that shirt?
It's the actual shirt. Believe it or not, I last thought this was the one I wore in the charity match at Main Road.
Wow.
And this is the first time I've had it on since then, and that was in the 90s.
Is that a green shirt?
It has been washed.
Is it green?
Yeah, green.
Because I think I've got one like that in blue. I think the one with Idas on. When I played against in the charity game, there were sky blue, very nice shirts. Football Monthly for us older ones. Ray Barlow. Guys, well, the idea behind this review is just to talk about the footy at the weekend. Now, we'll talk, obviously, a lot about Manchester City. and we'll briefly go through some of the other games as well, and give you our opinions. And because I haven't done scores out of 10, marks out of 10, I was a bit concerned because Bernard is very tight with his marking, but we'll try and do something. And then I think going forwards, because you guys have been asking for this, everybody's giving marks out of 10. What we'll try and do is find a slot, and it might be the Sunday night slot where we do a live stream, but we'll do a live marks out of 10 for the players for City's game. So and then we can stick those numbers up. I think it's interesting, and a lot of the guys have given their marks out of 10. So that's the interaction.
It's funny because when I did my marks originally, because I go to the home games, you get a different view, don't you? So I go to all the home games.
Yeah.
I usually stream the away games, and straight after the match, I did my marks. But when I look at other people's comments, and then I rewatched the game again yesterday.
Yeah.
Some, as you said, some of those marks I thought, perhaps was a little bit tight, but that was the reaction straight after the game. So it is different when you have time to think about it.
See, the thing is, when I watch the game live, sometimes you miss. I'm just gonna put this on Twitter. Some of the action, in terms of you don't know who, you don't know. For instance, I didn't realize it was Mahrez that did the pass to Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
The second goal, and so you miss that kind of thing. Yes, you knew Mahrez was brought down for the penalty, but there's bits and pieces you miss. I knew he passed it to Walker for the first, that kind of thing. But there's bits and pieces because you are sometimes very far away. I mean, we were on the second tier, we were miles away. So especially on the balls on the other side, nobody had any idea about the first goal, what had happened. So people are giving their marks, but we're going to give our marks. Andy Butler talking about the pink. That was another good one. Steve Black's Panini sticker books. 11 idiots dreaming of success. High times have changed. Mike James says Raheem Sterling is a player of the weekend. Steve Black saying Bernard is looking very dapper. Yeah. Let me just put this up on Twitter so a few people are like, the ones who normally come. So I'll just live on. I normally do this straight away, but obviously we're chatting away live on YouTube, reviewing. Let's see. It's a bit slow sometimes to get. Reviewing the weekends. Oops, let's get it right.
It's like the VAR. I mean, obviously it's been done to death, but there's a couple of things I've noticed haven't really been picked up upon yet. But that's something that obviously, I'm not going to talk about what everyone else has said, but there's just a couple of things that have interested me about it, and obviously might be interesting to the guys as well. Yeah,
that's it. I mean, that's why I'm thinking, we might do this on a Sunday, or do the marks out of 10 on a Sunday, because especially if we play on Saturday, we play Saturday lunchtime, then you've got all the rest of Saturday, all of Sunday, and all of Monday, and it's kind of drifting away now. Podcasts have been coming out. Let me just put guest appearance so that people know that Bernard's on. So hopefully that'll
turn them off.
That'll pull a few the older ladies in. Get Cobby Any on.
I used to when I was a young boy. My mother used to own a cafe in Withington. She was not own it; she was the manageress. And I was about 14. I was a good looking, not a bad looking lad. And she used to have these older women that are used to 30s and 40s. They were sort of trying to cut, and she kept knocking them back. And I only found out years later, and I was disgusted. I said, "Mother, why didn't you? What did you put them off for? I could have done with
you." 13, 14 years old, Bernard. And that's why. I think the age might have had something to do with it, protecting you. But anyway, so I'm just I sent it out to enough people. Let's just read a few comments and then let's dive into the first game. So I think the idea, what we'll do, it's just a test, guys. We don't know what's going to happen exactly, but I think we're going to talk about City. Then we'll look at the comments from the guys. Then we'll talk about the other games and like that. I'll try and keep up with the comments, but we're going to. It might be for a while, guys. You just listen instead of putting loads of comments, because it's obviously I want to focus on what we're talking about, what Bernard's saying, and we're discussing about the game. So if you keep putting messages up, I won't be able to, respond. I'll just try and keep up to date, and you guys calm down a little bit on the messages. As I said, the idea is I chat with Bernard, we chat about the City game, and then we'll come to you guys and we'll go through the scoring as well. Steve says it's Mahrez's best game since he signed. Mike James says 2 assists, 1 pre-assist, and 1 the penalty. I thought he might have done both pre-assists actually. Bernardo's waiting. Yeah. Hi, Sea-Dog. What score would you give the stadium? Stadium's a nice stadium, but the problem is for the fans, it's not a football stadium. We have 2 tiers. The first tier is about 30 or 40 meters in front of us. So so the away fans, we're disjointed. So, you can only just hear the guys down there when they're singing. Unless everybody's singing together, you can't hear them very well. So you don't get the same sort of atmosphere. So as a football stadium, I'll give it 6 out of 10. As a venue, maybe 7.5, but as a football stadium. Cheshire Humbury, one fellow sits in the North Stands and he has to slag off. Always has to slag someone off. Raheem or Mark, that's the way it is. The Bingle Gang will be in for Bernard. Okie dokie from Steve, from Andy. Just say when to start and stop. Hi, Mukund. West Ham had 5 tiers, as in crying. Hi, Mukund. All right, guys. So we're gonna have a chat now. Might only be 5 minutes. Might be 10 minutes. See how it goes. Just try and keep the messages to a minimum. And when we've finished, then we'll get everybody in, and we'll start interacting again. I think otherwise, if I keep flicking to the messages, we'll just lose our rhythm. Mike's asking if I can say West Ham like a Cockney. No, I can't.
West Ham.
But I'm not gonna really go for that. Hey, I might get done for racism against the Cockneys. But what we can say, on one of the videos I put out, it's about tearing Cockneys apart again, and it's great. Anybody halfway down south, I think anybody from Wolves and below, they're Cockneys to us now, just because we can get that song out. Okay, so let's go, guys. So we're going to start now. We're going to talk briefly. Quickly say hi to Kevin. His firstborn is called Kevin De Bruyne. He said his firstborn is going to be called Kevin De Bruyne. Sounds like Elmer Fudd. All right, guys, calm down. I thought a putty cat. Oh, that's sweet pie, isn't it? Oh, damn. Samuel says, I think the best business was signing Cancelo. That's make Kyle step up. Right, guys, we're going to go for it. I know new people are going to come on and talk, but we're going to go for it. So we're going to talk about City. Bernard, 5-0. 1-0 at half-time, 5-0 full-time. West Ham, a top 10 team, bought a couple of more decent players, got a fabulous manager. But we kind of brushed them aside, especially that second half. What do you think?
Well, let's face it. I was listening to Manuel Pellegrini. Yeah? I thought, obviously we were very lucky to win 5-0 according to him. We were obviously fouling his boys all over the pitch. They had the better of the first half, apparently, which is a little bit beyond me. But I thought someone had replaced Manuel with Jurgen Klopp at one stage. I just saw a different side of him. I've not usually seen that, but they did okay for the first 15, 20 minutes. I thought West Ham played really well, but once we put our foot on the ball, and we weren't our second or third gear, but we were still far superior.
Yeah, I think he was just frustrated because you get spanked 5-0 at home by the club that you used to manage, who are getting better and better and better. It's got to sting, it's got to smart a little bit, and I just think he was frustrated because look, we talk about the tactical fouls. Everybody does it. Absolutely everybody does it. And like today they were having a go on Twitter where they're saying, let's get myself back in the screen. I'm swaying from side to side. But they were saying that City do more tactical fouls or more fouls per minute out of possession. And I just think, how far are you stretching statistics to make them fit what you want. Because I said, okay, Pellegrini said 13 fouls. The Premier League's website said 8 fouls. Now, I think the 13 actually might include the offsides because there were 4 offsides. And then there's one, I don't know what happened to make it 13. Maybe they got 13 free kicks. Okay. But according to the Premier League's stats, on their website, we made 8 fouls. Last season, over 2 games, West Ham fouled us 12 times. And we fouled them 5 times over 2 games. No one says anything about that. No one talks about tactical fouls. I mean, I'll ask you, Bernard, what kind of fouls are there? This is a question I asked a journalist. What kind of fouls are they?
I mean, it's just, I looked at the charts for the weekend, and I think there was only 2 teams who committed less fouls in total, whether it's a tactical foul or just a normal foul, than we did. I mean, it's utter rubbish. I mean, every foul could be a tactical foul. It's just, and it's something that now they've beaten us over the head with again on Twitter. Everyone's jumping on the same bandwagon again now. It's just something else to throw at us, and it's pathetic.
Well, I looked at it. I said, you've either got a tactical foul. What other kind of fouls are they? Dirty fouls?
You can be clumsy and silly, but at the end of the day, a foul's a foul.
Foul's a foul. I would suggest most fouls, yes, you've got the tactical little nudge, pull back here and there. You've got the dirty fouls, which is just you're going there to hurt or to do some damage. You've got some kind of in between, like you say, clumsy. You're a little bit late in a tackle. There was no malice intended. You were just a bit slow, or the person was just a bit quicker than you expected. What else is there? Most tugbacks are either frustration or tactical. So and I turn around and say, well, look at that penalty. That was a tactical foul, wasn't it? He was trying to get something like that. So West Ham against City have given us 2 penalties in the last 3 games and committed a lot more in total in those 3 games, 17 fouls to our 13 over 3 games. So we're not averaging a lot of fouls per game. We're averaging 4, we're averaging 6. As you say, it's just another metric that's been manufactured like net spend. All these things are manufactured because there's nothing to say about what we're doing on the pitch.
No.
I see Doc say.
Aside with that, or obviously the other thing now is obviously they brought up the boring stance. Is it boring watching City? Is it boring watching City? No. It's the thing is,
no one used to complain about United when they were winning. No one said, "Oh well, United won they won 3 titles on the bounce. They won 7 out of or 8 out of the first 10 titles of the Premier League. United won. No one called it boring." When Liverpool won 7 out of 9 Premier Leagues, I think in the 80s, under Bob Paisley mostly, if not all, no one said anything. No one called it boring. They called it, and in fact, as an opposition fan, I would turn around and say Liverpool were the best team on the planet in the late 80s with John Barnes and the others. And I used to watch them play. I remember when they beat Nottingham Forest 5-0, and Nottingham Forest were the 2nd place team. And they absolutely humiliated them. The gulf of difference between the 2 teams was so immense. It was immeasurable. And we would turn around and say, wow, what a great team. When United, even though you hate them, you will still admit that they were a great team. And nobody, rather than admit City are a great team, they're looking at, human rights, spending this money, net spend, tactical fouls. And whatever they can. Now we're boring. I read something today. Someone said, was another journalist, funny that, said the league is not competitive. It's a one-sided league. And I said, hang on a minute. Last season we won it by 1 point. I hardly think that's one-sided. The season before, yes, we did the Celtic. We strolled it. Season before that, we were lucky to get 4th. So hang on, in the 3 years Pep's been here, we were miles away 1 year, strolled it 1 year, 1 point ahead 1 year. I don't think that's, one team league. There's other teams that got a chance. And I think, once again, Liverpool will push us. Spurs should push us. It's a lot of rubbish. I will read a couple of comments out if they're in what we're talking about, if they're off topic.
Yeah, bring them in, yeah.
So Dog says tactical fouls are part of the game. If you know when to do them, you're normally a class player. You can't really argue about that. Andy says the type of football we play is aggressive anyway, and we play in your face. We're very quick to win that ball back, and sometimes it's a I think the idea is we try and win it within a few seconds, and if you don't, then you do a foul. Let the boys regroup. You swarm. I think you see a few teams in that. You saw the old Ajax teams used to do that. Get 8 guys around the ball. They'd swarm the play with the ball. And I think the idea is if you don't win it back quickly, then you do your tactical foul to let everybody regroup. Mike James says we're not dirty, basically. We're not like Don Revie's Leeds. Mike also said I don't think City have ever been boring. Mukund, if anything, I admire this team even more because they are willing to get down and do the dirty work. In fact, if we didn't commit fouls, we'd be getting hammered for being snobbish and soft. Yeah, we're not doing anything. So yeah, that aside, the tactical foul rubbish aside, especially in the second half, we put together some really nice, interesting moves. West Ham, I think once they were 3 down, they were obviously heads down and they were gone, and we got another couple of goals. Obviously, VAR. We know the general stuff about VAR. I'll summarize it, and then you can put your points in, Bernard. It's too slow. It's getting quicker, but it's too slow. We don't get any information in the stadium, really. We'll get a little bit afterwards, but during the VAR, if it's a 1-minute VAR process, we know nothing. All it comes up there on the screen, VAR penalty. So they're thinking about that, or VAR red card. Well, we don't know anything. There's an off-the-ball incident, which most people didn't see. We'd like to see that again. So I think we've got to be better informed. I don't worry that it will take some spontaneity out of the celebrations. For me, it just means I celebrate twice if we score. I do my normal celebration, and then if we get it, you might do a more subdued celebration, but you do it again. You saw Raheem Sterling, after his goal, we did all the celebration, and then we wait for VAR, and then he still punched the air again. Obviously, it's a bit of an anticlimactic celebration. So what do you want to say about VAR, Bernard?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if the guys haven't seen the Sky thing with Richard Keys, is it? And the other guy.
Anymore. They got booted off for a little bit too much.
Andy Gray was spot on. I mean, they can do all these dotted lines and these angles and all.
You're not going to talk through that then.
They can do what they want, but at the end of the day, we never saw when it left his boot, and who would know when it left his boot? I mean, you're talking millimeters. It's absolutely. And who is making that decision? At least with the referee, I can say, "Oh, Mike Reid, you're a." But who is making that decision in the VAR? We don't know.
Mike Dean. Mike Reid was on EastEnders, weren't he? Mike Reid.
Mike
Dean.
They're just faceless. I mean, they're just faceless people in the VAR studio. It could be Anthony Taylor's brother. I don't know. It could be anybody in there doing it. And they now override the referee. The referee doesn't even look at a screen. Doesn't even look at a screen like they did in the World Cup. He's overridden now. He has to go along with whatever that VAR guy says. And we don't know who that VAR guy is.
I think they tell you on TV. They tell you. I think the issue for me is now we're looking at something and we thought it was going to be black and white, like the offside, and we now find out, as Andy Gray said, it's not. You're getting 25 frames a second.
There's judgment now being done in the studio. But did you watch the Watford Brighton game?
I saw the goal.
Did you see that handball for the free kick in the box? Why wasn't that a penalty? I can't understand why it wasn't.
I saw that handball where they had a goal.
He jumps up in the wall.
Oh yeah, that was the elbow. I don't know.
It wasn't a penalty.
I really
the Wolves goal that they scored against Leicester. It was a similar. It's his arm. Oh, no goal. But so what's the difference?
What they said is apparently the direction is if you score a goal and a handball was involved, whether accidentally or not, it's ruled out.
Well, that's fair enough. But what about the other end where he took a free kick and it should have been a penalty? Why wasn't it a penalty?
I think whatever they do, I want to see consistency. Okay, and the referees. Boss Mike Riley should come out and they should say this is how we this is our protocol, okay? There are 25 frames per second. And the analogy I use is the cricket analogy. For you guys who don't watch cricket, look away now. But when you're looking at a run out or a stumping, they say when the ball hits the stumps, it's when the bail is, you can see the daylight, it's physically dislodged, okay? At that moment, that's the frame that they stop it at, is the bat in, okay? Now, I would suggest they do the same in football. Is there daylight? Is there daylight between the boots and the ball? Once
if you look at those two lines that they drawn, they were reversed on top of each other. That is who decides how thick the lines are for a start.
As Andy Gray said, you could have taken any of those 4 frames, okay? And which one do you go for? Now, I think the definitive one, personally, should be when there is daylight between the foot and the ball, okay? And you can do that frame by frame. You got 25 frames per second. You decide as soon as the first frame where there's daylight between the foot and the ball, that's when you pause the action. That's when you have a look.
But he's not going to get that information, is he? They're not going to see that from that angle. They're not going to see when the ball leaves the foot.
They have to. I think
they haven't got it.
But they should do. They should have.
They have to work with what we've got, unfortunately.
They have to work with what they've got. But when Andy Gray showed it, he showed 4 frames from the back. Okay, it's not the best angle, but you still, I think, have to decide which is the angle or which is the frame that the ball is definitively, there's a gap. Now, it might be like cricket that you'll end up with camera on each side. They might get more cameras. And how many cameras have they got? 30 cameras at a game? They might get more cameras. So you get it from both sides. I don't know. I think it'll.
In all fairness, yes, I mean, the positives of VAR, I don't think we would have got that penalty if it wasn't for VAR.
Yeah.
The referee, Mike Riley, was not going to give that penalty. We wouldn't have got that last season.
Yeah.
We know VAR. So there you go. That's good for us. The encroachment, we wouldn't have obviously been given that. We would have not scored that goal. So on the positives, we gained from that. But it was a 5-0 game. I'm a little bit worried about the 0-0 games, not the 5-0 games. You know, we were comfortable. I'm worried when we play Tottenham or Liverpool or Arsenal, United. You know, the 0-0 ones, the 1-0 ones. They're the ones where it's going to really tell.
Yeah, I think that's going to make. You're right. It's going to make the big difference. The big games like that Leicester game. If it wasn't for that handball, the referee didn't see it, I don't believe, and VAR called it. So, you know, Wolves would have walked away with a win.
Yep. And
said it's been a draw. Let's go through some more comments then. C-Dog, good. I think it's a very good point from C-Dog. I don't know how he made this good point, but anyway, he's made a good point. Manuel was just mad. He's not at City anymore. He's a coach. You know, he could coach players like Rodri. There's a really good point coming from. I saw it earlier. This is Mukund. Manuel is quite clever that way because they got pumped 5-0. So he knows to throw the media some crumbs to take away the heat from his own team's performance, because that's what he's right. That's what everybody was talking about. Same way Mourinho used to do it, talk about a lot of rubbish to deflect from his team. And Pellegrini's done that really well, because no one's talking about how West Ham let 5 goals in and why they didn't really put much of a show. So that's a very good point from C-Dog. Mike James says Andy Gray's analysis was very interesting. Mukun still likes Manuel Pellegrini. He says he's cheeky. Mike James, he says he threw the rat some cheese. Nick says it might be an unpopular opinion, but I think football is about human error, and I think it should be left with the referee if it goes to great. Personally, I don't agree, Nick, because football, they never set football up and said, here's a game of human error and some goals might be scored in the process. It's, you know, I want to see the right decisions, especially when it's.
And my last point on VAR, again, it turns in with this 5-0 thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all right if it's 5-0, but it's been 0-0, 1-0. What about the time added? 5 minutes. Where did they get that from? It should have been at least 10.
It was ridiculous because we had, in the second half, we had 4 goals. We had plenty of subs. They're supposed to be, and even without VAR, they're not giving us 30 seconds per sub. And the celebrations.
So you imagine that in a time. I mean, 5 minutes is normal for a normal game without VAR, But so you imagine a game 0-0, 1-0, or whatever. You're going for a draw or you're going for the victory, and they put 5 minutes up when they've wasted at least 10. It's just not good enough.
I don't know how much was wasted on VAR, but let's just say it's 1 minute per episode. So we lost in the second half. We had the VAR on the 2 penalties. That's 2 minutes. I don't think we lost 2 minutes there. On the goal that was disallowed, another. So there was between 2 and 3 minutes on the VAR.
5 substitutions.
Yeah. So there should have been 30 seconds per sub. Or even, there should have been something, even 15 minutes out of a minute and a half. The VAR gives you another 2 minutes. That's 3.5. It was a 7 or 8, even 10 minute. And I think that's what they're worried about with the VAR as well, about giving 10 or 12 minutes injury time, because it's a tight knitted package. If you start going over 2 hours for a game, it rolls into other programming as well, so it can affect that. How tightly.
I must admit, I worry about the night games at the Etihad. Imagine how many empty seats there'll be if it's going on late at night.
Yeah, if you're going to finish late. So let's go through some quick comments. Bernard is correct with both penalties. Both were penalties. Cedar, it was a clear penalty. It was a long way out, and then he hits his arm. Yeah, I think that was a penalty. He jumped up, he blocked the ball, and I can't believe it. You're still going to get that subjectiveness. What I want is when it's clear cut, when offside, they can be definitive. If it's by 1 millimeter, so be it. Yeah. Obviously, then we're back to subjective things. But the offside should be clear, daylight between the ball and the boot. That's when we do it. Dog says VAR will be good. I think it will be. Let's have a quick try and catch up, because we now find ourselves 5 minutes behind. Dog says it'll help City. The guys didn't wait till we finished the City thing, and they're all in it. Not listening to that. Maybe I should put them all in time. Hey, that's the way to do it. When we start, put everybody in timeout, we get 5 minutes. No.
Keep firing those questions in. Keep firing them in.
We're 5 minutes behind. Anyway, fans hang on without knowing what's going on. I think that was frustrating. Asa Strambler, what are our thoughts on Marina Sundance, which he hated City? No, but he's been honest. He's now out of the cauldron. He's just been honest. Cole, what are your thoughts on Mourinho's sudden switch? He hated City and always publicly roasted us wherever. Yeah. but the thing is, I think now he's out of it. Like Wenger's out of it. When he's a commentator now and a pundit, he's all right. So Kevin's working the night shift with the media company. I like, Asa said he loves the fact that Mourinho's giving us life on the English media. Finally, a pundit who isn't just loving Liverpool United. Hey, Ricardo Hippolyte, how are you doing, mate? Is VAR helping to bring goals in a game like the forward was given advantage? But now, Steve Black, look, I'm not sure the forward was always given advantage, but right now I think it's going to be straight. You're going to get the more right decisions. It's just a matter of speeding them up. And
you think about it, Sterling and Aguero play off everybody's shoulder. I mean, Jesus is going to be 2 yards offside every time anyway. That's normal. But I mean, Sterling and Aguero pride themselves on playing off the defender's shoulder, and so we're probably going to suffer more than other teams because of the way we play. But hopefully, the benefits will outweigh.
We'll get the benefits of things like the Mahrez penalty. So we'll get more. I think we'll get more penalties.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Look, for instance, that game when in the league last season when against Liverpool, Trent Alexander, no, was it Robertson, hauled Raheem Sterling to the ground. He almost, it was a rugby tackle. I'd have been proud of a rugby tackle there, and we got nothing. Now VAR would have looked at that, and it would have had no choice but to give a penalty. No choice, because if you didn't give a penalty, the furore that would have created, and everybody would have said the guy's bent, the guy's cheating. So then the VAR referee is under a lot of pressure, and I think that's going to make the game. I think it's going to make the game better. It's going to make it more honest, because people are not going to get away. And I'm hopeful that people will not try and get away with silly things in football that they try to get away with, because there's no point anymore. Not just the refs, but the players, and we can get a more free-flowing game, because if you elbow somebody in the face and you get caught by VAR, you'll be sent off immediately. It's not retrospect. It's not after the event. It'll be within a few seconds and you'll be off. So I think that's going to be good. Look, Ace is going for Arteta after Pep. Well, let's finish off on the City game then. Let's go through some scores then. Okay, so we'll start with, and I'll try and give a little summary of what I think, and then Bernard will give his harsh scores. But Edison, my quick reaction to Edison, he made 2 good saves when he had to, when we were 2-0 up. His passing and control around the box was fantastic. I can't remember him putting a foot wrong. So with all that positiveness I said about Bernard, about Edison, what are you going to give Edison?
I gave him an 8.
So Edison is getting an 8 from Bernard, and I'll give him an 8. So on average, between the two of us, Edison gets, when it comes up, an 8. Okay, Kyle Walker. Now, he had 2 or 3 dodgy where his passing was lousy, and he got caught on the ball, I think. So 2 or 3 dodgy bits, but that steaming run down the right for the setup for Jesus, fabulous. I mentioned Mahrez, who passed the ball through, and I think he was always a threat on the right hand side. So what are you going to give Kyle Walker?
7.5.
I'll go along with that because I think if hadn't made those mistakes, I'd have probably given him an 8. But he was a bit rusty to start with. So Walker, we both agree 7.5. John Stones. Can't really remember too much about John Stones.
That can be a good thing, can't it? If you can't really remember, I would give him a solid 7.
Yeah, I'll go along with that because I can't remember anything that he did badly. I can't remember too much where he shone. He just put in a decent performance where he made no errors, no major play, box standard 7, and I will agree. Laporte.
7.5.
I'll go. I was going to go along with that because I think he was the classiest of the defenders. Some good tackles, but you'd expect that. He's not doing anything over and above what a good defender would do, but I think he just commands our defense just that little bit better. So far, we're pretty much in agreement. Zinchenko.
Yeah, I mean, after an iffy, well, I don't know, he didn't really have an iffy start. I thought he played really quite well, actually. I'd give him 7.5 again.
I'm going to give him a 7. I think he, for me, it was a little bit iffy, as with all the defenders. But he didn't really do too much wrong. But I said he's always got a mistake in him because that's not his position. And I think he was caught out once. So I'm going to give him a 7. So we'll give him 7.25 average. Rodri.
After a bit of a shaky start, he nearly gave a couple away in the first 10 minutes. I'll go 7.5 again, Rodri.
I'll go along with that because he made those mistakes. I would have probably given him an 8.5. I think overall, some nice bits of play, kept it simple, and he can run with the ball as well when no one's challenging him. But he could have cost us that losing the ball and been in slightly the wrong position. So I'll give him 7.5. Here, I will give a quick pause. Let's get what other people are saying, and then we'll come back to the attack. So Ray Barlow. Let's try and find out where. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to quickly go through the score. So Mike James is giving Edison 9 for 2 class saves. Personally, I think the first one was hit straight at him. He did have to react. If that was David De Gea, it would have been a world-class save, even though it was hit at him. The second one was very, very good. Steve Black, he's going to give Edison an 8. Ray Barlow gives 8 as well. I'm liking this, just clicking the names up. And you guys let us know if you like us clicking the names up so you can see who's giving what. Steve Black's giving Walker a 9. Ray Barlow's giving him a 7. On to Muckun's giving him an 8. Well, hang on, let's get Muckun back up. He's a quite handsome chap. That is
Muckun, or is that his brother? Is that his handsome brother?
Oh, is that his brother? Because it looks too a little bit too handsome for Mukund. Anyway, Mike's giving Stones a 7. Yeah, get off, Mike. Get out of it. Get out of it. Mike's been hacking my my hard drive to get my picture when I was a youngster. If that's Mike's picture, if that's you, Mike, I'm coming up to Leeds and we'll go down the gym and start training together. If that's actually Mike, tell you what, I've got to be careful about some of these pictures. So Steve Black is giving Stonesy a 7. Ray Barlow's giving Stones a 7. Moving on to Laporte, Steve Black's giving him an 8. Mike James is giving Laporte an 8. Mukund is tight, giving Stones just a 6.5. I take that handsome back from you, Mukund, on behalf of Stonesy. Ray's giving Laporte 7.5. Zinchenko, Mike's giving him an 8. Mukund's giving Laporte an 8. And Zinchenko a 7. Ray's giving Zinchenko 7.5. They're all quite similar scores. Mark's giving a 7. I don't know who to. I guess it's Zinchenko. Steve's giving him a 7. Mike's giving Rodri an 8. Ace is giving Rodri a solid 7. Steve's giving Rodri a 9. Ray's giving him a 7.5. Mukund's giving him an 8.5 for finishing with that yellow card. Nope. Let's keep going down. I think that's everybody up to date. So Cedo's giving Rodri a 9. Joseph's giving Rodri a 7.5. And Rob Beard wants to give Danny Granville 8. Well, we're not going to even put that up. Mike James lying to us. I got my abs like that from workouts. Believe it or not, that's Photoshop, mate. Photoshop. Mark Armstrong's giving Rodri an 8. We'll talk about Mike James photoshopped 8-pack later. So let's move on to the attacking midfield then. Kevin De Bruyne, he sets up that goal for Raheem that I remember immediately. A few misplaced passes at the start. Got into the game, but he didn't get to the level that obviously we hope he's going to get to this season. So what are your comments on KDB then, Bernard?
I'd go for 7 only because I know he could do better.
Ooh. I'm going to give him. I'll give him a 7.5 because I think he was driving from midfield.
Yeah.
Set up that goal for Raheem, and that goal was set up by him putting on the afterburners and getting ahead of.
It reminded me of Yaya in his prime.
Yeah, where you get ahead of the player, and you're not going to let him get back without him committing a tactical foul and getting booked because you're positioning yourself between him and the ball, and there's no way he's going to get that ball unless he brings you down badly. So I'll give him a 7.5. Samuel's giving Rodri a 7. Mukund's giving KDB a 7. Joseph's giving 7.5. Cole's giving KDB a 7. I'll try and keep them about when we're doing it. Mike's giving him an 8. Steve Black is giving him a 7.5. Sea Dog says 7. Ray says De Bruyne. Ray's got a different. What am I thinking? A different spelling. I'm thinking of an actor. What's that actor now? Who was in those series? Those revenge movies where his wife would get raped and he'd go out killing people.
Bronson.
That's it. I don't know. I'm thinking of Bronson with he put De Bruyne with an O. Anyway, let's have a look. Mark saying 7 for KDB, showing glimpses of class. Mukund says for KDB, the scale is really 1 to 12. He's getting a 7. And Samuel's giving him a 7 as well. Death Wish. Wait, I got the movies in. Bernard, I get the movie. We might do that. Throw movies in from time to time. Asa says for real analysis, City fans, KDB gets his best games passing to Sane. Without signing someone no one is there to catch. Maybe. So let's move on to David Silva as captain. I mean,
I'm going to be a bit mean and say 6.5. I think he was given a lot of room by West Ham and he didn't quite use it as he could do. So I'm a bit mean, I suppose, but 6.5.
I mean, it's one of those. People who watch the highlights will look at it. I mean, I know you watched the full game, and I'll look at the stats and say, well, did he get any assists? I don't remember. Did he get any pre-assists? Don't remember that as well. So then you got to look at the other aspects and how he ran the game. I'll give him a 7. I think I'll give him a 7, which gives him a 6.75 as an average. I think that's reasonable overall. I mean, we won 5-0. It's hard to give him a low score. So Mark Armstrong's given him a 6. He said quiet game. Mike James, 7, played well, nothing special. Mukund is giving him a 7. Cole giving him a 6.5. Joseph Beattie 6.5, and Ray Bowler's given him a 6.5. So basically, everybody's giving him between 6.5 and 7. So I think 6.75 is reasonable. Joseph says Silva's passed it. Foden will take over soon. Foden will take over, but not yet. I think the fact that Silva's captain, you wouldn't have made him captain if he was only going to play 10 league games this season. I think he's still going to be a main part of our attacking midfield. Mike James, less than 7 is harsh. He set up Sterling, the one that was offside, obviously, yes. Let's just say Gundogan came on and did more than David Silva. That's what Asa says. Well, Steve's given him a 6, not influential, but did what needed. Maybe captaincy is tough. So let's look at our forwards. Let's go start with Riyad Mahrez. Riyad Mahrez set up 2 goals. So he got 2 assists. He got 2 pre-assists because he passed the ball to Walker. Walker crossed it in for Gabby Jesus. He passed the ball to KDB, who passed it to Sterling to score, and he got booted when we got the penalty. So basically, he was involved with every single goal. So what are you going to give him, Bernard?
Because after the game, I gave him 6.5, but having looked back at it, I'll probably give him 7.5.
I'll give him an 8.5 because for me, he had those 2 goals. Sorry, the 2 assists, the 2 pre-assists, the penalty thing. He created 2 or 3 openings for himself. One where Fabianski got down well and pushed it wide. One where he left Cresswell on the floor on his backside, and another a defender floundering, and he should have hit it across the keeper, and he tried to fool him and hit it to the near post, and he hit it into the side netting. So I think he had 3 shots all told, or 2 or 3 shots. It was a buzzing game for him. He told Pep, I only need 1 week's rest. I want to play, because he knew if he has any more rest, someone's going to get in the team. We're going to spank somebody 5-0 or whatever, and he's not going to get in the team. If he had not come back, and Bernardo had gone and played and done everything that Mahrez had done, Mahrez would be sitting on the bench next week. So now he's put himself in the shop window. I honestly expect him to be dropped for Bernardo next weekend. So we're going to give Mahrez gets an 8. Joseph wants to give him a 10.5. Mark says 8.5. One of his best games. Yeah, hey, Mark, you don't get much. It's hard to get 9 from me. Ray's giving him an 8. Cole's giving him a 7.5. Mike James gives him a 9. Asa Mahrez is a solid 9.5. Joseph's giving him an 8. Joseph beats it. But now Joseph wants to give him 10.5. I don't know how that works. You give him an 8, 2 minutes ago, now he's a 10.5. Asa says Mahrez set up Kyle Walker, 2 assists. He was threatening all game, absolutely. Asa wants to give him a 9.5. And Mike says he can't take him out for the next game. We'll see, Mike. We'll see. Yep, Mike. I can't argue. Sorry?
I think he might be taken out for the next game.
That's Pep. But that's Pep. No one would have called Bernardo Silva not to play this game. Nobody.
Probably he had a bit of a knock.
He wouldn't have been on the bench if he had a bit of a knock.
Well, he could have been brought on if necessary.
Yeah. But it was just West Ham would have been prepared for Bernardo, and Mahrez comes to left field. Pep's not always going to do that, but he'll put some left field decisions in. Let's keep moving along the line. Gabby Jesus.
What a goal. I mean, what a goal. I thought it was an own goal. What a goal that was. I'll give him 8.5 just for that.
I'm going to give him 8 because he scored a good goal. He worked hard. A little bit of offside. A bit lazy. Like the ball that came through that when Sterling passed for that the goal that was cancelled by VAR. If that ball had been to Gabby, well, he was 2 or 3 yards offside. So, he was just lucky that Sterling got the ball and played it back. And
he doesn't seem to be improving on his offsides, does he?
Yeah. So how much should you give him? 8.5?
Just for that goal, really.
I think I give him. Did I say I give him an 8? Maybe that's a bit too generous. I'll give him a 7.5. So you give him that. So overall,
8 on average is okay.
Yeah. So let's go look through the scores before we move to Raheem. So Cole's giving Jesus 7.5. Ace says Mahrez and Gabby are coming back hot. Even Pep recognises it. Mike says good game 8. Joseph 7.5. Samuel says Mahrez 8, just about 1 or 2 back passes. Ray Ballard's giving Gabby 7. Muckun's giving Gabby 8. Mark's giving him 8. Steve's giving him 8. Ace says Bernardo doesn't look too threatening, especially in the Community Shield. And Matt James is giving 8.5. So moving on to Raheem Sterling.
Well, what can you say? I'm going to give him 9.
I'm going to give him. You might not like this. I'll give him an 8, even though he scored a hat trick.
The hat trick saved him. He wasn't fantastic the first half, but I mean, anyone who scores a hat trick, you've got to, and even he was willing to take the penalty as well. So I'll give him the 9. I'll give him 9 for the.
Yeah, I'm giving him the 8 because the first half wasn't, the best. Even though he works hard as usual, but he wasn't really in the game enough. Wasn't threatening enough. Second half, yes, he got the hat trick. Yes, the VAR chalked off an assist. But other people created those goals and he put them away. Yes, you have to be in the right place at the right time and you have to finish coolly. But that helped. Maybe you think 8's a bit harsh, but overall he walks away with 8.5 and I'm quite happy. So let's go up and see what people say on Raheem. So Joseph's giving 10. Mike's giving him 10. Muckun's giving him 10. Cole gives him 8.5. Voice of reason. Matt's giving him 8.5. Mike James says 10, man of the match. Ray Barlow says Raheem, good goals, but 8.5. Sea Dog says 8.5 is all right. Sterling is 9 because he could have scored 6 or more, but he's top of the league. Steve Black gives him 8.5. Paul first half, Atone the second. That's a nice word, Steve. Put that dictionary away, mate. Oh, that thesaurus. It's on the second half. Mike James, don't forget you got man of the match, so he has to be the highest of your ratings rate. But between me, it was between Raheem and Mahrez. Joseph says hat trick is automatically a 10 for you. Hi, Liban, hope you're well. Sea Dog Mahrez for me gets a 9. Gabby 8.5. Samuel gives Sterling a 9. And Muckin gives him a 10 just for the finishing. Yeah, it was clinical. Yeah. Then Sobs, who had much of a game, was probably Gundogan is the only one that I can think of that had a decent number of minutes. You've missed nothing, Liban. Just an hour's worth of high-level debates and contributions from the guys.
I don't really think Gundogan contributed much in the time he was on, apart from waste a bit of time. But I can only remember him making a couple of bad passes, to be honest with you. But I wouldn't rate him, to be honest with you, on that. What would you give him then? I wouldn't want to, really. No, he was not long enough, really, was he?
I was going to give him 6.5.
I would have said 6, but
yeah. Well, let's give him a score. He didn't do that much. Yes, it is pink lemonade, Steve. Matt James says Raheem told West Ham Park and see him getting a couple on Saturday. I hope so. Muckin says Raheem found another level. We'll see. If Muckin, if Raheem can finish the chances he gets, then he's gone to a new level. He didn't do it against Liverpool, and against Yokohama, I think he missed an opportunity as well. If he can put away his chances, that boy will score 30 league goals this season. I'm convinced he's got the skill, the talent to be in the right place at the right time, and he's just got to be more clinical.
I think Pep obviously now has him as our third striker, so it's up to him to do it. Yeah.
I mean, now Sterling can play all across the front line. It's fantastic to think. It becomes so versatile. When we initially saw him as a right winger, but Pep's used him as a left winger, and now he uses him as either false nine or up top. So it's very, very good. I mean, let's just quickly go through some comments. Ray says it's hard to call for any subs. I think it's difficult unless the sub comes on and does something fantastic. Let's talk about Aguero. We've got to give Aguero something. I'll give Aguero
6.5.
I'm giving Aguero 6 because that first penalty was diabolical, and he's missing too many. And I think he needs to lose taking the penalty duties.
The thing is, while Aguero's on the pitch, I can't see anybody else who's got to take him.
That's the problem. If you take that duty off him, it's going to affect him mentally, I think. But that missed penalty against Spurs in the Champions League, in my opinion, if he'd scored, would have been through comfortably, because they would not have come back from that. So
we know Pep's a strong manager. If Pep didn't want him taking him, he wouldn't be taking him. So again, we'll trust him whatever Pep says.
Yeah, you're right. So Mark's given 5.5. Samuel still did the hard job. You know, the space, how small the space between the keeper's legs are. Samuel's giving him a 9. Smukken's giving all the subs a 7. Liban, Gundon was sloppy, going 6.
What score do we give the fans down there?
Let's catch up with everybody, then we'll talk about the other bits, Bernard. Let's just catch up because these guys will say, well, you're 2 minutes behind. Liban, Gundon was sloppy. Mike's giving Gundon 6. Josie says subs did 9 for me. Gundogan is very underrated, says Asa. Gundogan, Foden, and Kun get 6. Gundo gets 6 now from Samuel. Mike James Raheem is better on the left for me. That's why Sané didn't get a sniff second half of the season. That's fine, Mike, because Pep said best attack we have is Bernardo on the right, Sergio in the middle, Sterling on the left. Liban's a tight so-and-so, giving Aguero 4. Joseph gives 6. Mike's giving Sergio 6. Mucken's giving Sergio 7. Joseph, time for KDB to take over. He has the technique for the penalties. Mucken says not to take the penalties off him. Mark says Sergio 6, missing another penalty. Cole wants Edison as the penalty taker. I don't think that's going to happen. Gabby for Penn says Steve. Ray says penalty practice, all you can give is Sergio. Yeah, Sergio, you cannot go up and do a tap penalty like that. It's got to be placed whichever corner you hit it. It's got to be hit perfectly. Mucken says don't take the pens off him, it'll knock his confidence. Liban says he didn't deserve to be taken on the penalty because that first one was just atrocious, really. I feel he still hasn't burnt those kebabs. He looks fat. Sea-Dog, he runs away way more than Aguero than Pep before Pep. I still give Aguero 7. Twisted, pasty. Aguero gets a solid 6.5. Gundo needs to get back to the pace of things. Sea-Dog, even when missed a retaken penalty. Steve Black gives VAR 6. Joseph give me a 10 for my shenanigans. I don't think I did shenanigans, but I did a lot of work. Mike James, John Stone should take penalty, I don't think. So Mike James, VAR 7, too slow. Let's talk about the fans then. You want to talk about the City fans or the fans in general, Bernard?
Just for obviously you were there. Obviously, you gained your experience over on the telly. It sounded okay, but then West Ham fans didn't sound particularly loud, so it didn't sound a great atmosphere on the telly. So I don't know what it was like there.
It's a funny ground for the atmosphere because of that running track, and there's just as I said, there's a gap between you and the rest of the fans. They were, I think, their rendition of "Forever Blowing Bubbles" was good. Every time they did that, I like that. Look, I'm not going to hide and say when Liverpool sing "You Never Walk Alone," it does hit you because of the song. And I remember the song. Now I'm a 70s child. I was born in the 60s. But I remember the song when I was a kid, and I remember obviously at Hillsborough, because I think I was in Liverpool at the time, university. So all these things hit you, and you'd heard the song.
At Hillsborough, I think me and my lad were at was it Blackburn away? We were playing on the same day. I think we were at Blackburn away when that happened, the Hillsborough thing. So we sort of only got it when we got home, sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't know when that was, but if it was the same day. But I was in Liverpool. I was studying at university. So yeah, so but I'd already heard it before, and Ferry Cross and Mersing. I was into my Beatles and my Liverpool stuff when I was in studying in Liverpool, and the I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles. That got you a little bit, certain bits. It's just the way the music is and the words and the way it's sung, and they were very good at that because they were very good. They had the music going, and then they cut the music.
Yeah.
Let the fans.
Yeah.
I really quite like that. But there's a disjoint in that stadium because of that running track. And the City fans, it didn't feel as noisy as normal. And I don't know why. I think it's a combination.
What sort of age group was there, do you think? Mostly
older ones. Around me, there's a lot of older people. The thing is,
were any Liverpool fans near
you? Not this time. It was a 12:30 kickoff, so that's obviously going to affect some of the raucousness. Yes, people were still. I mean, some people were well oiled. I mean, the well oiled at 11:30 in the morning. You think, blimey, what time did you start, mate? And you could light some of them, and they'd burn for days. But that distance between the fans being so early in the day, people weren't probably buzzing the way we did. I think a 3 o'clock or a 5 o'clock kickoff you'd be in, and that distance, as I said, when the fans are singing down there, you're not hearing much of it, and so you're singing something different up here, and they're singing something different down there sometimes, or you're singing the same songs, but you're way off. So that's a disappointment. I don't know what they can do about that.
You're singing the same songs, but not necessarily in the right order.
Well, we're not in the right time. Timing was well, but it was just difficult. And then you'd realise that they were singing slightly, and then you'd stop, and then you'd come to the end of yours, and then jump in with them as well. So.
Well, it's a bit like Wembley, isn't it? Let's face it, Wembley, it's terrible to get a grey atmosphere at Wembley. Certainly for us City fans, for some reason, we never seem to hit the nail on the head, do we?
If you've got 80,000 fans there and only 30,000 are City fans, it's hard to get, because you've got that home, away, or two away sets of fans, and you've got the Club Wembley bit as well, who are normally quiet. Whereas if you're at your own home ground at City, you've got 52,000 or whatever, 50,000 City fans, 3,000 Oppo fans, you're going to get a better atmosphere at home grounds normally. Let's try and catch up with people, and then we'll quickly go through, because we've already been well over an hour. Let's have a look. So Mike's giving the stadium 7, Mike's giving the fans 6, Joseph's giving fans a 10. Steve, tell Kun that Bernard will keep hold of his girlfriend if he misses the pen from now on. Yeah, Mukund, imagine the steam pouring out of it. It'll be more than steam pouring out the opposition keeper's ears if it's Edison taking pens. People have goes for that. Mike's giving West Ham 5. Liban says, should we not be worried about Aguero's weight rate, or is it just me seeing? I think just give everybody time. Give everybody time. Gabby Jesus is playing well, scoring goals. And Aguero will be back. West Ham fans were on the way home at 3-0. Yeah, Ray. I said that it's quite funny that the VAR, when we scored, we looked like we scored, fans were starting to go, and we were singing cheerio, cheerio. And then it was come back. So these guys had to come back for more punishment. That's basically what it was.
Well, so don't forget, when that was disallowed, that's when they had their best spell. That's when they
raised their it raised the fans. That was the biggest cheer in the ground for them.
That's another psychological effect of this VAR. It raises your opponents and it raises the fans, and they could have got back into it.
Yeah. Joseph says Anfield is a cracking atmosphere. And Mike says Pellegrini for 5 talking garbage after the game. I thought it was deflection, Mike. Twisted, pasty. That's why Anfield is so difficult to get results. It's the fans and atmosphere. Mukun says VAR 0, West Ham 5. Manuel gets 8 for playing the media. Sea-Dog could just say 10 goals short of Thierry Henry. Sergio's going to take him this season, and fingers crossed he'll be 3rd by the end of the season in all time and 2nd by the time and next season. Rebal says, yeah, we got beat by Blackburn 4-0 that day. Don't remind us, Ray. Liban, Mukun says Sergio's indeed become very stocky. He'll get back. He'll lose a little bit of weight in the next week or two, Mukun, I'm sure of that. Joseph says Aguero's a pudding. I think it's a bit harsh. I'll tell you what, if Aguero was a pudding, I'd have eaten him by now. Sergio probably squats 100. Mike, 100 kgs, nothing. Even yours truly used to squat over 100 kgs, mate. Not just 1 rep, 10 reps, mate. We'll talk about that later. Ray says, I felt like a teenager fans were that old. We had a lot of old fans there. I don't know why. It's because it felt an older demographic than I'd normally see it in a away game. But it was nice. And there was probably fewer kids. Maybe it was just where I was. It felt less threatening. It felt like there were less, can I say, coked up or boozed up people than normal, which is it's actually a good thing. And a lot of the older fans, very, very pleasant. You had good chats with a lot of people. With the younger ones, you don't approach. I'll be honest, you don't approach them unless you know them. And so it's nice. Some of the older fans coming up and you talk for 5 or 10 minutes, and it's absolutely great stuff. So I don't know what the reason for that was. It was just maybe the youngsters were down there and we were up here. I have no idea. Okay, let's try, because we've already been on for an hour, and it's been a decent chat actually. So I think that's what's kept us on for an hour. Mike James is saying, is that the old Carlo Nash and Nicky Weaver shirt Bernard is wearing? It looks like it. There we go. Okay, let's quickly go through. I mean, the idea is it's 2 or 3 minutes. The other games have a quick review. So Liverpool 4, Norwich 1. Norwich way too open. But if they're going to play like that all season, they have to put the chances away. They missed 3 half-decent chances or more than half-decent chances. Pukki was Pukki. And once Liverpool got that own goal, that stroke of luck, they never looked back. And, but give Norwich credit. They plugged away and they got the goal. On another day, if they'd scored...
I don't think they'll particularly miss Alisson, to be honest with you. I don't know how long he's out for, but...
A few weeks.
He's not a bad little keeper, and I don't think he's a bigger blow to them as we've lost over the last couple of years.
I agree. I mean, it's a calf problem. I mean, you knew that. I mean, I didn't even watch it, but in the comment, the post match with Jurgen Klopp, which I saw, he said he thought something had hit him, and that straight away, it's a calf tear. But it's not the worst injury in the world. I would expect him to be back in about 6 weeks, maximum 4 to 6 weeks. All depends on the severity of the tear. If it's a minor one, maybe 3 or 4 weeks. If it's major, 6 or 8. But that's my guess at the moment. I think he'll be back. And obviously, you've got to remember, there's 3 more games. Is this right? 3 more games before the international break. So he'll be back. I think he could be back after the international break if it's not too bad a tear. That's in about 5 weeks' time. So he could be back by then. Let's have a quick look. I'm not going to go through the guys' comments. So that was Liverpool. I mean, Norwich. I think they'll be all right, Norwich. I think they'll be all right this season. There's got to be 3 worse teams in Norwich.
I don't know. I'm not seeing any. I mean, obviously, all the promoted teams I think are going to be struggling this year. To be honest with you, it's early days. It's early days to tell. After about 8 or 9 games, we'll have a better idea, I think.
Yeah. I mean, moving on to Bournemouth versus Sheffield United. I mean, it's a long old trip for Sheffield United, 225 miles. Chris Wilder's done amazingly well there. And my first note, and it applies even to well-established teams, you don't get time to mess about in the Premier League when you got the ball. You've got, to get it shifted quick, because briefly, Sheffield United, I think they had 3 decent chances before Bournemouth even had a shot on target. And then Bournemouth scrambled that goal to get 1-0 up. After a few minutes of their pressure, good save from the keeper, unlucky keeper. You make a really decent save, and then someone follows it up and pops it in. And then Billy Sharp's late equaliser. How did you see that one, Bernard?
The fans enjoyed it, didn't they? Did you see that guy with the steward in the crowd?
I only saw brief highlights, Bernard.
He just obviously ran over to the crowd, and one of the Sheffield United fans, a big guy with a big belly, got hold of one of the stewards, and he's shaking his head like this. So very happy, obviously, and the steward just didn't know what to do. It's quite funny.
Oh, yeah, very, very happy. But that theme of you can't mess about. You saw the players don't have time. The Sheffield United players were holding on to ball, and then Bournemouth would just rob them. So Palace Everton was goalless. It wasn't a poor game, but it just ended up goalless. And some brief comments. Sigurdsson missed a great chance early on. I think Everton had a lot of chances actually.
I think Everton will do okay. They did play. Seem to play very well. I think they'll do a lot better. Again, guaranteed top 6 or 7.
Yeah, I think Palace had a good chance to win it with Max Meyer, but he hit it straight at the keeper. Zaha was on the bench, so he came on. The crowd applauded him. So, I think people know and accept the situation with Zaha, and they don't begrudge him a move. He's stayed on and tried to help them. And people don't. I don't think the fans are really have turned against him. In that game, Schneiderlin got 2 yellow cards. The second one was deserved. The first one was for his frustration or his reaction in thumping the ground after a free kick had been given against him. Now, I don't think he'd have got a yellow card for that, unless he's for the tackle he wouldn't have got it. But it's for his reaction after the ref gave it. He was just pounding the floor 6 or 7 times, and to me, it shows that footballs they don't learn. They don't learn. Their reactions can get them a card. Their dissent can get them a card, which later on will come to haunt them. So now he's going to miss the next game, and in a team like Everton, does that mean someone else is going to come in and he might never get back in? Yeah. You can't do it in big squads.
It's the emotion. What did you say? They do these. We've had it in the past, haven't we? Otamendi doing stupid things. And, and hopefully this VAR might cut a bit of that out now.
Because more of the things can get spotted. Moving on to Watford 0, Brighton 3. That's a bit of a surprise because obviously Watford finishing top half, finished well last season. They did well most of the season. They actually finished poorly in the last 6 league games after they beat Wolves in the FA Cup semi-final. They only won 1 game, drew 1, lost 4. Obviously got pumped by City 6-0. And they've carried that, I wouldn't say bad form, but the bad luck. I'm just looking through my notes. I saw a terrible giveaway by Dawson, led to that own goal by Doucouré. Let's have a look. I think Watford defending was poor on all the goals, and
they made Brighton look really good. To be honest with you, I mean, they made Brighton look world class at some stages. But as I said, at 1-0, Watford should have really had a penalty. But there you go. Yeah,
and the Brighton super sub scored. That Anton and what's it, Maupay. So. It's a surprise, but look, Brighton will take that, and Watford. I think Watford will bounce back. They didn't lose any of their better players in the summer, so I think they're all right. Let's look at the smaller games first. Leicester versus Wolves. Vardy missed an open goal. It went through his legs. Jimenez missed a very good chance. And then you want to? I'll let you talk about VAR ruling out Dendonker's goal. So do you want to briefly tell us about that?
Again, I mean, I watched it on replay, obviously, like everyone else, and I couldn't gauge whether it hit his shoulder rather than his arm. It's just, again, it's someone's judgment sat in a studio somewhere.
His arm, and since it's Bowley, I'm quite glad they chalked it off because, obviously punched that ball in or helped it in.
Yeah, I don't feel sorry for him.
That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. And I said Jota right later on. He screwed a shot wide. He should have won it for Wolves. Newcastle 0, Arsenal 1.
Newcastle played really well from what we saw. I didn't obviously on the highlights. Newcastle played really well, and they were unlucky to not at least get a point.
Yeah, I mean Joe Linton. Yeah, I think he looked lively. Shelby looked decent. Shelby's got the. I think Shelby's got the talent. He's just not got the temperament too often. But hopefully he'll work on that. I think he's all right, Shelby. But Arsenal will always be dangerous when you've got people like when they're going forwards and you've got Aubameyang, if Lacazette's there, when Pepe starts to play. But the goal that Newcastle gave away was shocking. Yeah. Honestly, that was Sunday League football in my book. The pass out to the winger or the wide man or the left back if he was out on the wing, and he just stood there waiting for the ball and watching the Arsenal player just come in and take the ball away and run off. It was crazy. And then was it Lascelles defending? I thought was positionally poor, where he has to. Yes, you might have two men, but you got to place yourself in such a position that you can affect the game. And he was poor. He started going out wide and left Aubameyang to just receive a ball. And you don't give Aubameyang chances like that. And then
I think Newcastle will be all right.
Yeah, I think the worry is if they have a bad start, the fans are staying away. Steve Bruce,
they boycotted it, didn't they? I think the crowd was only about 4,000 down on a normal crowd, 4,000 to 5,000. So.
Yeah, one fan on Twitter talking about everybody who went was a scab. I think that's a little bit harsh because look, people love their club.
Well, it does set fans against fans. That's the problem, isn't it? We've had it before in the old Swales eras and things, So it does create animosity between, fans, which is a shame.
Yeah. Burnley 3, Southampton 0. Long ball Burnley. Long ball for Burnley. I remember the defender slipped, but the VAR ruled that out eventually.
Southampton could be in a bit of trouble this year. I think they weren't great last year, were they? So,
yeah, but they had chances this game. They had chances, but then Burnley just do these high clearances. Mistake from a defender. Barnes 1-0. No marking for the second goal. That was diabolical defending. And another long ball. And then Goodmonson made a great goal, great finish. But Burnley have done all, I'm surprised, but Southampton, you can't defend like that. You can't slip, make mistakes, go to head the ball and miss it. You just, it's once again, Sunday school defending. It's crazy. Is it 2 games left then? 3 games. I'll let you go. Spurs 3, Villa 1. I'm laughing because
31 shots, I believe, of which most of them were in the second half in Villa.
I laugh at the score because that's the game that there's a guy on Saturday night, and you said you hadn't seen the games and you didn't want to know the scores, and you kept scoring. But yeah, look, Villa got that early goal, but that thing that I said before, where Spurs got back to level, but Spurs scored their 3 goals in the last 17 minutes, and
Harry Kane, who doesn't score in August, got a break. Yeah.
He got very lucky with his first goal, and it's for what's his name? As I said, you have to remember that Premier League. I'm just going to try and kill a flag. I missed it. But Grealish, you haven't got time to dwell on the ball. He took 2 touches. Before he took the third one, dispossessed.
I can't feel sorry for Grealish wearing that hairband. Sorry, I believe that's the 19th game on the trot he's lost in the Premier League, which is a record.
Wow. But the thing is, he should have. There's a ricochet in the box. And the ball, I think it took 2 or 3 ricochets, deflections to get to Kane, and he stabbed it up, to get the head, and then they won it 3-1.
They looked how we think they're going to look. They look as though they're going to be dangerous.
Look at Tongi and Ndombele. I think, it's only one game, and he's, I don't know how, because I didn't watch the game. I only saw, highlights, how he's going to be this season, but, he's got a shot on him. He's shown us that. And Spurs have still got some very, very good players. And he's a definite improvement on Dyer. And then let's try and catch up. And then we've only got
the rags.
Yeah, let's try and catch up a little bit. And Joseph says Norwich and Villa will stay up because we're now 12 minutes behind. Mourinho just taking shots at United and nothing else. Says Mukund Ali Abdi. What do you think of Neymar transfer? Don't care. He's not coming to us. We don't want him. Let him go to Spain. Mike, you should loan update. Mike, there's only so much I can do, mate. The thing is, for the big game, now, if you look at it, I spent Friday night doing interviews for the game, Saturday at the game, and Sunday doing reviews. And now we're on Monday. So I've just got to clone myself, which probably people don't want, and find out how to do. I was trying to get somebody to do the academy for us, but he didn't. I had a couple of guys. No one came through. So I've got nobody. If somebody wants to get involved with the academy, I'll go to the games that I can. But if I'm in London, I can't go to a game in Manchester, for instance. So I'll just, it's just suck it and see it at the moment. Sea Dog says, I hope Mendy's fit soon. Twisted Pace, Sheffield United away is going to be difficult. I think it will be. Atmosphere is brilliant there. Liban says, Mourinho still playing mind games as a pundit. Mike says, that's Mucken's right. Ali, what do you think of the Neymar transfer? You're asking me again, Ali. I still don't care, Neymar's a show pony. It's all about him, and you let him go to Spain. Steve says, only issue will be if Liverpool do badly while he is out, then it will be blamed on that. However, I see a little problem for them. Yeah, look, they'll just use it as an excuse if they lose a couple of games or draw a couple of games, and that's what cost them the title. They'll say, they'll be crying again. They'll be crying. It's their long grass time. Joseph says Newcastle, Sheffield United, and Palace for relegation. Steve Black, Joseph Beatty, no Brucey bonus. Joseph's asking where Neymar's gone. Chelsea were top first. Well, we'll talk about Chelsea in a minute. No, everybody's talking about Everton will be hard to beat and draw, especially that's Steve Black. Mike James says Chelsea to finish bottom half. Steve says I would not be shocked if Lampard's gone in a few months. Mike James, Paul result Watford getting spanked at home. Mike James, yep, Graham Potter will do a good job at Brighton. Joseph's not too complimentary about Watford. I'm not going to repeat that. Bottom half for them. Steve Black, Brian Potter. Is that his name, Brian Potter? Sounds very Phoenix Knights, that. Looks like he understands clubs and Watford. Yeah, Brian Potter would understand clubs. And Watford, I expect the manager to change in a few months too. Morpeth got a lot of goals for Brentford last season. That's right, Mike. Liban says, well, let's not beat the Bosch and be brutally honest. That wasn't a 5-0 game. We were dreadful in the first half. We did step up in second. But look, we weren't great, Liban. We weren't great. But we were still miles better than West Ham. We were class apart. Let's have a look. Arsenal scraped a 1-0 win. They will get top 4 ahead of Chelsea. Chelsea, the way they're going, I think they'll be struggling to get top 6. But look, let's briefly talk about Chelsea because I'm only 8 minutes behind. I thought Chelsea played a good first half. They had a lot of decent chances. They were the better side in terms of chances. And then, look, United, that stupid penalty, what's his face? Zuma was basically crap. He was very poor, making mistakes. And once United were ahead, second half, you get 2 goals in a few minutes, game's over. Chelsea then, I think, we're conceding chances. Yes, it's good for the kid to score at the end. But what do you think, Cole? Bernard, what do you think of?
I only saw the highlights, so the highlights made them look absolutely world beaters, United, and obviously they're all waxing lyrical about them. But from what I've read and what I've heard, it was a bit of a Sunday League type game, most of it.
Yeah. I agree. Mucken's asking if Wolves can challenge the top 4. No, not for me. Joseph at Chelsea have talent. Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic, top 8. Yeah, but Joseph, top 8. That's not that's not good. That's not good enough. Joseph says Saints could go down. Steve's putting Saints for close to relegation. Mike James says if Pulisic ineffective when he came off, he's not anywhere near Hazard. Give him time. Eric Duffy says, hi Ray and Bernard, great show guys. Thank you very much, Eric. I'm not sure we'll be doing 2-hour shows again, but it's an hour and a half. It's good fun. So whilst it's good fun, it doesn't feel like an hour and a half. Steve Black, not Spurs finest hour. However, we'll see different on Saturday. Aston Villa bottom half for Mike James. I think so. But I think they've got some good players. They play well. The goal is going to help them. So I think they'll be all right. I think they'll be all right, Aston Villa. Let's have a look. Steve Black says Villa to stay up. Joseph Beatty, I see City spanking Spurs. Spurs looked awful to me for one City win. I don't want Spurs to score. Steve Black, the Irish footballer who's at it again, Rick O'Shea. That's an old joke, Steve. Come on, man. Mukun says Spurs look menacing. Spurs will always be dangerous, but it depends where their focus is. Last season, they lost focus on the league, and they were just concentrating on that Champions League. So much so that they nearly missed out on Champions League football this season. Raheem to destroy Spurs. Player of the season, says Mike. Ray Ballard's gone. Cheers, mate. It's been a great show so far. Mucken says, I hope Ericsson leaves. Joseph Beat is gone. Cheers, mate. Night to you. Steve Black hopes that Mike and spanks the Spurs. Suspect a close to, and I want it to be clean. I want it to be by 2 or 3. Mike James says, I will mention all under 23, under 20, under 19 UEFA Youth League rules as after game. Yeah, it's great to mention that. I'll try and go to a few games myself. As I said, I know somebody who goes to pretty much all the games. I wanted him to get involved, but it appears he doesn't want to do that. Because it adds extra work to you if you're already going to loads of games to actually give reports and stuff. So, but we'll see. I'll keep knocking on a few doors. Mucken's got to go. Cheers, mate. Been great. We're at 3 minutes behind. Steve Black says Chelsea kids might suffer from that defeat. Next game, first goal will make or break them. Yeah, they lose. I think they can lose heart. Tammy Abrams was unlucky when he hit the post. You can see what you just don't know what a difference a couple of inches will make. If that Tammy Abrams goal had gone in, would United's heads have dropped? Would United have collapsed and Chelsea walked off 4-0 winners? Who knows? This is beauty of football. Mike James, it's nice to follow up and coming talent. I think that's about it. Other bits and pieces, I'll just go through some bits and pieces of news that I've read today. Excuse me. Eliakim Mangala has gone back to Valencia on a free transfer.
Listen, I was hoping that Mangala, I hope we've got a buyback clause.
Oh, dear me. That Mangala, man. Mangala's 42 million, apparently. 42 million. And we paid him, someone said 100 grand a week for 5 years. So, ouch. Cost us 65 million quid. 65 million quid. Let's go through some more stories. Lucas Demetri has been opening up about leaving City for Wolfsburg. Let's just try and see. he talked about why he's gone. But look, he was born in Germany, although I think he came here when he was about 5 or 8. He was raised in England. He's obviously, most of us know that he's represented both countries at youth level, but he's committed his future to Germany. And so he feels he'll get a better chance of regular football with Wolfsburg than he would at City, which is true. So he's on loan there. This is what he told Bild. I think here I get the chance to prove myself. That's better than staying at Manchester City, maybe only playing 4 or 5 games in a season at the end. VfL Wolfsburg was the best team that wanted me. The club plays in 3 competitions, so I just won. Last season was at Preston. I think he scored 4 goals, or that was it. It wasn't a lot. And he said the presence of Felix Udokai did sway his decision-making in choosing Wolfsburg as his next club. They played together for Germany when they became runners-up in this year's Under-21 Euro champions in Italy. He said, it's nice and quiet here. I find many friends in the team. But his brothers, Felix, is still at City. And when I'm actually in Germany, and there's a Wolfsburg game, I would like to go and watch. It's in the evening because it's at the weekend. I'm working. I probably finish work by 5 or 6 o'clock. I'm just hoping, praying that, because last time I went, I think they were playing away, so I'd love to go and watch Wolfsburg play. And I think the other bit of news, we talk. I mean, Bernardo, I can talk about his little muscular problem, but and why Pep wanted Riyadh, and then obviously the news that a couple of you have mentioned as well, that it's this talking about Raheem Sterling getting £100 million, or it could be $100 million contract to wear Air Jordan football boots. Wow. That is a heck of a lot of money. But hey, good luck to the lad. And I'll be knocking on his door asking if he can lend me a £5. So quick questions. Mike says, why didn't Porter take Mangala back? No idea, Mike. Yeah, Steve Back says, it's a shame for Mangala. It shows how things can go wrong. Mike James says, Nemecha was it the Wolves Max J squad? I think it'll just take a bit of time to have a chance. He also says Thierry Ambrose didn't get off the bench for Metz, but at least he was on the bench. I think he'll get some games. There's no way that Thierry Ambrose has gone from Lens to Metz not to play. Steve Black is asking about Brahim Diaz. Brahim Diaz went to Madrid and nothing. Sat on the bench. I think that's it.
Just change subject a little bit. I think Muric had a good game, I think, against Leeds, didn't he, for Forest?
I've not seen it. Because, I mean, to be honest, I've obviously focused on City and then the other Premier League games. And when you've got all the games, it's hard to get a chance to watch the other stuff. That's why for the women's team, I've got somebody else to do the women's team, because Al might make some contributions now and again. But I've got no idea compared to the women that, the people that go home and away. I don't even know what some of the players' names, especially we've got a few new players. So it's going to be tough for me. At least with the City players, you've got an idea who they are. When even if they're far away, because you've got Leroy Barnett, you know who it is and the way they play. If you've never watched the women play, except on a few minutes on Facebook or YouTube, you've got on City play, you've got no idea. So I think it's better to get other people involved. Let's have a look. Mucci is only 20. Scott Carson did well in training, says Steve Black. I think that's about it, Bernard, unless you've got anything else to add.
I think that's it's getting late now. Everyone will be falling asleep, so I'll leave.
16 people. So once again, guys, I've got to say a big thank you to Bernard for tonight.
Great, enjoyed it. I hope the guys have enjoyed it as well.
I think we've enjoyed it. And last plug for, I'll type it in while Colin talks about his movie game nostalgia.
Yeah, and if you just if you go onto YouTube under Bernard Dineen YouTube, you'll find my little videos on there for a nice little film quiz on there as well. If you fancy a change or something to do, so Bernard Dineen YouTube. So that's all.
The film quiz you did was bloody hard, mate.
The highest score was 14, I think, so far.
Sorry?
The highest score was 14 out of 24, so I'll make it a bit easier next time.
14's good going. I mean, look, I didn't score a point for 7 questions. I had no idea. And I was thinking, this is going to be quite embarrassing. But at last, you put something I knew, that Ben-Hur, I actually knew that. And then the Marx Brothers, Chico, not, I'm going to say Chico, Harpo, and Groucho. There were about 6 brothers, weren't they, all together in Marx Brothers? But those were the ones that we remember. And that got me going. And, then I got True Grit. Like, how many John Wayne films can you remember? True Grit, that was his only...
well, that was an easy one, True Grit. That's why I picked it. I thought it was very easy.
He did a couple of films that I thought people might know, but the reason I remember True Grit was because that was his only Oscar. And what's his real name?
Rooster Coburn.
That's not his real name.
Shirley.
Shirley. No, don't call me Shirley. Shirley. His name is,
it's not Shirley Crabtree. That was Big Daddy.
Big Daddy. I always preferred Giant Taste Tests myself, and those matches were rigged. But no, it was a good quiz. I mean, it's a tough quiz, but I think
I'm gonna make it hard. My daughter did it with her daughters, and obviously they didn't have a clue. So I said, "Oh, I'll put some kids ones in there next time as well."
Hey, let's get some Pixar stuff. I might have a chance. Last couple of comments. Everybody's saying goodbye. Mike says good night. Cheers, Mike. Cheers, Cole. Have a good evening. Sea Dog. Steve Black. Nice to see you follically challenged duos. Green Berets. Marion Morrison. That's it. Marion Morrison for John Wayne. I tell you what, I used to know that, but you're getting on now. Forgetting more than I ever knew. But guys, thanks for evening. I think it's been a good evening, and I'll be back tomorrow. There'll be some League Cup games this week. But I keep a passing interest, but obviously we'll want to talk City, but it's a bit quiet. It's going to be a bit quiet the first few weeks of the season when we've only got 1 game a week. When you've got 2 games a week, there's always something to go on. The preview of a game, and then the game itself, and then the review. So each game is like 3 days. Like this has been 4 days. Each game is like 3 days. The preview, the game, and the review. So when you've got 2 games a week, that's your week done. And there's a lot more to go on. So, but thanks, Bernard. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And
thanks, guys.
Yeah. Get off your horse and drink your milk. Early Saturday kickoff again. Not for us, Mike. We've got
5, isn't it?
Half 5, yeah. I'm looking forward to a lion on Saturday. We'll see. Check it easy, guys. Thanks, Bernard.
See you later.
Soon.